Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Tim's Tech Corner, G for G, Games for Gamers. Today we are taking a look again at Marvel Avengers Alliance on Facebook. The last time I had done a video on this particular game, I was minorly into it. I enjoyed the game a lot, but I also had several streaks of just going by plenty of days where I was logging in, setting my heroes to do the flight deck for a day, and logging out. Um, since then, I've picked up a lot of good heroes and have just really enjoyed the game and gotten into it, and I kind of understand now the statement that I've seen made on the forums that you kind of don't treat this game mid-core or soft-core. There definitely is a hardcore component to this game. And this video here is I'm going to show you my quest for Diamond, the teams that have been running in this particular season, as we close it out during the last 5 days. To show you what's going on for this particular season, the rewards here are can opener at Diamond, and that's the one that I'm really going for and hopefully will get. You have the Vibranium League, which is the Scrapper's Empowered Armor, and then the Adamantium reward is, of course, Domino. Really don't expect to get Domino. I've never gotten the PvP hero, aside from the one time Play Dom messed up, and everybody got Angel. So I've been bouncing around back and forth between Diamond and Gold, but I've been pretty high Gold, so in that last day or so push, I should definitely be able to secure Diamond and do pretty well with it. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the teams that I ran in this particular PvP season, and I will show you first my anchor team that basically got me pretty far. I called it Team Nightmare, and it was basically a magic-based team. It featured, if I could find them over here, well, I'll go through my heroes first and show you what I've got. I've got a fairly high level Iron Man running that suit, standard Black Widow, she's high, Hawkeye's high, standard Black Cat, World War II Captain America in Tactician. He was Iron Man and him were an anchor for several seasons. Fairly high Colossus, a high Cyclops, he's definitely an anchor. A high Doctor Strange, a Hulk, pretty high Human Torch. I used to use him a lot in PvP several seasons ago. Relatively high Invisible Woman, a very high Iron Fist, a solid Kitty Pryde, a getting there Miss Marvel, a relatively high Phoenix. She's got all of her abilities now. She-Hulk, that's been sitting at 11 on the board, or 12 for a long time. Same for Sif. These two have been waiting for training for a long time. Spider-Woman's coming up there. Kind of low. Storm. A Thor that really took off for me. He leveled pretty quick. War Machine with the Iron Patriot. Black and Tan Wolverine. Mockingbird, a fairly new addition for me, Scarlet Witch, Emma Frost. Really like her in the Marvel MMO. I think she's okay here in this, but I know the Phoenix 5 suit is the one you really have to get for her. Rogue's an up-and-comer, Gambit. Magic, we're going to come back to her. She's a big key. Recently added Deadpool during the Black Friday sale. Same for Cable, who is actually getting trained at the moment. Valkyrie picked up a while back for a Spec Op. I have Psylocke. Love Psylocke. I used to hate going against her. Now that I have her, I love her. A new addition in Punisher. Magneto's been hanging out for a little while. Wasp, who is ungodly weak, but Playdom seems to have a boner for her. Captain Britain, he's a lot of fun. Omega Sentinel's a lot of fun. A new addition in Shitterstar. Red Hulk, who used to be part of Team Barbecue, her and Satana. Him and Satana. Juggernaut, that I'm trying to get to 9 for his final ability. Constrictor. Normal Angel. Satana. love Satana. I used to pair her up quite a lot with Cyclops and Red Hulk. Decent Elektra, Ares, who's become a cornerstone for me. Fairly high Squirrel Girl. Black Bolt that I want to complete one of these days. Fairly high Moon Knight, who just recently got his level 9. Heimdall, that's trying to claw his way up there. Same for Loki, a new Dr. Voodoo, and a new Sabretooth. So, at the moment, let me just pick that just so I can get out of the screen. This is the team that I'm running now, which apparently must have just suffered a loss. My defending team must have... I thought it just dropped a little. My defending team has been without change Wolverine and Cyclops. I think I added Cyclops a little bit recently to get some offense, but it had been Captain America. And basically it was to try to keep everybody off balance. I have the bruiser suit on my agent with Ki Shout. And it was Wolverine and Captain America, mostly because they keep countering and intercepting attacks, so it was always going to try to be confusing as to who was actually going to take the hit. And it did okay. I mean, there were times where I'd log in at plus 15, plus 16, plus 20, but then I'd see the negative 46s. So these two here, the power cell and the void generator, have been a staple the whole time. I recently switched over to the digital decoy and the Enigma. I think I might change this up a little bit to add, let me find it here, the Protector of Attilan to have some less damage being done. I was really interested in going into this season with the Vigilante toolkit. At the time, the Vigilante toolkit gave you all of the buffs. So you were nimble, you were feral stance responding, and you were protecting. And the idea was this to reduce the damage, Vigilante toolkit to guide it to the agent, and then shields, and everybody else was going to attack. Didn't work out that way because they nerfed Vigilante's toolkit right before the season. So that plan got shot to hell. I could go back to Captain America just to make them screw everybody's attack up a little bit, but I'm going to stick with this, mostly because I want his combat expertise going out, so everybody's attacking. So my theme for defense has basically been protection off of the agent, somewhat decent attacks, and a lot of misdirection. Now for offense, my current team that I'm testing out, but is going to be in the garage for a little bit because Ares needs some training, and I hate running people who aren't making good use of their experience. This team has a tremendous amount of synergy, and I'm really interested in piloting it for a little while. The synergy comes off of the fact of Ares and Sabretooth doing a lot of bleeds, and there's some tenderizing involved. So let's take a look at the synergy between these two over here. Ares has Art of War, which is a bleed and tenderized and increased bleeding damage. Has Modern Warfare, which hemorrhages all the bleeding attacks out. And then, of course, Personal War, which is a quick action, can be used every time. Crush your enemies for a stun. He has been in ever since Team Nightmare stopped. No more on that. I was using him with Cyclops, and the goal with using him with Cyclops is he's using God of War so that people are jumping in on attacks and people are jumping in on single attack retaliations. You have Cyclops doing combat expertise, and with my agent running Stalker, basically you're just paying for all of your attacks. Ares could be jumping in, other people could be jumping in. If combat expertise is out, you're going to be retaliating. If Stalker's out or surveillance, you're going to be retaliating. So basically it was just a ton of free attacks, and that's been my theme for offense all season. Extra attacks. So coming over and looking at Sabretooth, what we have here is he has bleeds. No tenderizing, but he has bleeds. He has brutal slash, which exploits the bleeds and is a big hit when you need it. And Berserker, which is a mini God of War. It's a God of War for himself. So again, you're paying for the enemy team going on the offense. So that's what I'd like to pilot now. He's not up to his tantrum yet, which is going to be a nice AoE. An AoE that's missing and removing Cyclops from the team with Mega Optic Blast. And a chance to stun, just like Ares. So he's like a weird Wolverine, Ares, sex baby mishmash. Now, the team that I had been using for a good beginning part of this PvP season and really did me well was Team Nightmare. And this was a magic-based team. It was Phoenix 5 Magic and Doctor Strange. Again, this is all set up around Stalker. Stalker would go out, which would allow her to retaliate with Soul Sword. Soul Sword buffs her up with Soul Charge. All you need is 2 Soul Charges and she's full. So, if she gets a free attack on a surveillance, she's gained a Soul Charge. So she could conceivably be hitting around 2 or maybe 3 Unleash Hell, and this was a big thing. She was bugged for most of the season where, as you can see, she only just hit level 9. She was bugged for the majority of the season where she was given Stepping Disc instead of Soul Flare. It was extremely handy going up against infiltrators because you could Stepping Disc for one attack, Soul Sword for the other, and then just Unleash Hell. Her Unleash Hell is a magic attack, and it does Dark Void, it does Soulfire, it does Death Frost, so it gets around shields, and severely gets the enemy team just getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Now, couple that with Doctor Strange's Vapors of Valtor, which also does Dark Void, does Bane. The two had great synergy. And Vapors would go out, Unleash Hell would go out, and then if he's getting his free attacks, you know, Terrazing boost if we needed a little bit of health, and a really big shield of the Seraphim if somebody needed to live. I've seen somebody mention that they're using Phoenix with a Mind Link on a phased Kitty Pryde, so she just stays kind of phased and nobody can touch her. I think that could be a vicious combo. I'd like to see it, especially considering she can attack with Lockheed and not break phased. So, as you can see here, stealthy, summon attack. I don't think this will take her out of a phase, but I'm not too sure. Here is my Cyclops. So, Cyclops been a big part of my PvP teams this season for a while because of evasive maneuvers. That's just, again, making people pay for attacking you. So this is out, surveillance is out, you're getting just a ton of free attacks. Team Barbecue, I didn't really use much this particular season. That was Red Hulk and Satana. That's just basically a fire-based one. Again, she was working off of Stalker. I haven't been using Wolverine on offense. My Scarlet Witch is too low. I've got a good friend of mine who uses Scarlet Witch. She's just a little too low for me to use her. Same for my Deadpool. I've run into several Deadpools lately. He usually doesn't give me much of an issue, but he can do a decent amount of damage at times. Kind of do some spike damage. Was using a Psylocke Phoenix 5 Cyclops for a little while. And again, that was all about paying. Psylocke has got something that I don't like, though. I really like using her personally, but she's costly in the fact that her mental coordination is not a quick action. Everything else that's similar to this is a quick action. Yes, I know it gives her Psionic Shadow, which has a chance for her to avoid stuff, but this is a quick action for everybody else, and this is costly for her because you've got to. Everything is a ramp up with her. You got to use it, and then the next round. Well, what do you want to burn the Psionic Shadow on? Do you want to give a big shield to somebody? Do you want to give Psychic Knives on somebody and have that burn it? Do you want a big telekinetic katana? And I was staying away from infiltrators for a while because I was seeing so many Wolverines. That's why I have my Ares, and that's why I have my offensive agent running the bruiser suit. I've now gotten to a point where I don't see that many Wolverines anymore, but I've started to see some Deadpools, and haven't really seen a Dr. Voodoo, haven't seen a Thunderbolt, which I was kind of expecting. I saw a really bad Juggernaut that kicked my ass. I don't see Shitterstar. I'd like eventually to see what Shitterstar can do with some increased levels and some gear, because he will retaliate with Blade Maelstrom, which hits everybody. And if he's retaliating and there's a bruiser on the other side, he's not going to cause enraged with that. I've seen some Omega Sentinels, but Omega Sentinels are not good against me because of the Stalker with Surveillance. If she's attacking twice, she's getting punted in the face twice. That's basically how that goes. I've seen quite a decent amount of Angels. I've seen some Electras. I never see Satana. I seem to be the only person who ever really ran her. And not seeing too many Moon Knights. I've seen some Heimdalls. One was very easy. I fought a Heimdall the other night that did some pretty good damage to me. Haven't run into Lokis. Haven't run into Hercules too much. I do continue to run into Quicksilver, who, if I take him out early enough, he's pretty good. Ran into a Havoc today, and I think he was with an Iron Patriot that managed to survive by the hair of its teeth. X-23 I've run into a little bit lately. Rescue is all over the place. Cannot stand Rescue, especially now since I'm not running my Infiltrator. But my Scroll of Bologna takes her out. A few Thanes. Wonder Man is a giant annoyance. I've run into a few of those. So, really, it's a lot of rescues. A lot of blaster suits on the agents, and that's annoying with me running 2 tanks. That can occasionally get painful, but mostly I've had some pretty good counters from what I'm running up into against PvP. So that's what I've been doing this particular season. Magic and Doctor Strange are making a good combination. I would like to see what would happen with a Stalker group of Satana and Magic. I think that could be fun, and really where Stalker, yeah, so she's fire magic, all of her is fire. Where Satana is good in a Stalker group, this is what you do. On Satana's turn, you burn Fires of Hell, and then she, on her retaliation turn, is doing Fiery Fists. So by the second round, you can get a fully buffed AoE Enthralled Guardian out, who can do tremendous damage. It used to be that Fiery Fist, if it applied on a retaliation, would buff your team. They've taken that away, but she still gets buffed. And dropping a round 2 Enthralled Guardian that does 5 digits of damage to people is amazing. She used to get teamed up with Red Hulk, and they would just bounce fire off of each other for increased damage and crits and everything. So that's been what my PvP team has looked like for most of the season. As you can see, occasionally there's some streaks there. There was a bunch of defense losses. Yesterday I had a 5 wins and out. This is the results of the end of yesterday, where it was, get my 5 and they were all wins. And then my defense team started losing a bit. So, I hope you got some team ideas over here. My agent on offense is running Savant Spear to give me a shield in the beginning. And this is pretty good for some weak attacks, like a Quicksilver is not really penetrating this. And it can survive a decent hit. And, of course, Scroll of Bologna. And this is the core of my team over here. This really hasn't changed at all this season for me. I've run the same offensive gear the whole way through. I've thought about maybe taking this out and putting in like digital decoy or something, but with rescue being around, this is a really good counter, and I haven't run into too many people defending using it. I've taken it out of my defense team. It used to be here. So we'll see what happens, and we'll touch base tomorrow with some of these teams going, and you can see how they perform and see how everything goes here on the quest for diamonds. Hope you enjoyed this video on Marvel Avengers Alliance here on G4G. Take care, everybody.